Hey everyone, welcome. This is Ankur Warikoo and this is episode 23 of Warikoo Wednesdays. So when our parents were young, think kids, I wonder what was back then the single biggest determinant of success. Like if someone said, hey, if he or she has this, then he or she is likely to be successful. And I'd argue that IQ back then was a pretty good determinant or indicator of success because the most prestigious colleges had limited seats, they would have entrance exams, usually the smartest people will get through, and it's not surprising that the most prolific achievers in this country from that generation are people who've been to the best colleges, the IITs, the IIMs, the SRCCs, the Stephens of the world, and so on. So if one were to not be very romantic about the idea, it can be kind of taken that IQ was a pretty good determinant of success back then in that era. And then came EQ, which was this fresh concept that if you had the ability to understand not just your emotions, but that of the other person, then you would become a better reader, a better, more effective communicator. And that, of course, is true, but I would also argue that it's more so for people who are in positions of leadership, people who have the responsibility of managing teams, not just themselves. But I wonder what it is for most of us. Because most of us are still young, most of us are still entering the workforce, most of us are still managing our own selves and not teams. What is the single biggest determinant of success for us? If it's not IQ, if it's not EQ, or it's not a combination thereof, then is there something else that could determine success in today's world? And when I look around and I reflect on my experience of having managed several people, of having managed my own self, I feel that the single biggest determinant conclusively in today's world is the ability for one to focus. Is the ability that someone can devote 100% of their attention on one thing at one point of time without being distracted by anything else. 60 minutes, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 5 minutes of just absolutely undivided attention without looking at your phone, checking your notifications, social media, television, your laptop, being bothered by someone else, or worse off, being driven by our own thought process, by our own ideas, our own memory, our own imagination of the future and whatnot. Think about it. In today's world where everything is designed to attract your attention, the ability to have a singular focus on a particular task at a particular point of time is absolutely precious. Nothing can beat that. Not smartness, not emotional quotient, just your ability to focus. And I go back to this really interesting thing that I'd read some time back. I forget the author, unfortunately, who said that when we were all kids, there was a time when we would indulge in this kind of undivided attention. And that was when we were playing. When we would play with our toys or paint or read or just build our own kingdom or whatnot, we would just lose track of time, remember? There would be no world outside. There would be nothing that is attaching us, and we would just be doing what we were doing. And then unfortunately, parents would come in and say, hey, it's time for lunch, it's time for dinner, it's time for you to sleep, it's time to do homework or whatnot. And that attention would get destroyed. And the author argued that I don't think parents recognize what harm they're doing by just dividing this attention, because if this kid's ability to immerse, this kid's process of immersion can be somehow taken into adulthood, this will be a genius right here in front of you. Because we don't have that. In today's world, your ability to focus on something undivided and not distracted by the world is the single biggest determinant of success. focus is the new IQ. Until next week, let's see you all.